above our pay scale.
I don't think we can do the pledge. She left us.
Made her mad.
Knowing her, she's running to the car to bring in a pie.
No, she's going after a gun.
Let's go
Now,
there.
who'd you say you wouldn't do this?
She was good.
Take that
I think we'll do that next time. Whenever we have folks in the audience, we'll just say, "You want to do the pledge?" And then
back.
they
Just
just.
say we'd like you to do the pledge and invocation.
Clear this.
We ready?
Yeah.
All right. By the clock on the wall, it is 5:30. Let's all rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow your heads. Heavenly Fathers, we near our 250th anniversary of this country. We thank you, Lord. It's been a blessing to so many of us, Lord. We thank you for forming it, blessing it, and guiding it. Help us be mindful of all you've done. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Welcome, everybody. Let's do a roll call.
Aaron Rowe.
Here.
John Manus. Poncho Davis.
Here.
Marcia Parker.
Here.
Ken Colley.
Here.
Bill Young.
Here.
Ron Sharon.
Here.
All right, we've got a quorum. Has everybody been able to look over the minutes from the June 9th meeting?
Make a motion, we approve them as printed.
Got a motion to approve as printed. Do we have a second?
Second.
Got a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No? All right, ayes have it. Does anybody in the public like to talk about anything on the agenda? No? All right, we have unfinished business, which is discussion of additional employees. Mr. Steve, would you take that away?
You all asked for some input and some thoughts and going over what we work and what our needs are. And we had talked earlier about the admin and not having anybody plugged in. What we brought for you and what Megan has put together in detail. If you look at the cost assumptions and rates, and you'll see what the price is. And I will tell you that the Public Works employees and the admin are comparable there. The needs, the Public Works guys have asked in the need for a vehicle in lieu of an employee. The other things that go with, and we know and we described and we all talked about the workload and getting buried by the paper. We're going to have one more project coming. It's going to be a paper nightmare, but we've got it coming. I'll talk about that in a little bit. It is construction as usual. The biggest thing here that we know that you need to know personally is if you go for a half year, what are you going to do when the year ends? The other thing that we've all talked about is the grants, the SAFER grants for employees. It's real fine, except that what are you going to do when you get somebody on board and a grant ends in 3 years? Then you've got the full load to carry amongst your payrolls. They don't go away, and you sure wouldn't want them to go away, but you don't want to commit to bringing somebody on board, and then the rug's pulled out from under them at 3 years, or the city inherits an additional burden that they have to do. It's a matter of, as we've talked about before, when can we afford to do what we're doing and get it done? The other thing is, if you've been over here and you've heard people always commenting, well, there wasn't anybody right at the window to meet them. Well, we have a lot of other squares to fill, and we have to do it. All of us that are here have to do it with the time we've got and the things we've got to do. Matt and I were in here early this morning, and we had to do a mandatory EPA report. If you wait to try to do it after duty hours start, you're going to be there a while, and you can't guarantee that everything goes right the first time. This is a part of having to do multiple admin and cross checks without enough people to go around, period. That's just the answer. Fire has a need, police have a need, it'll have to be funded. There's just no other way around the funding. The thing that we hope for the best is it coming out of this economic attack or catastrophe or whatever you want to call it that's going on in the country. The tax revenue will support the additional employees. That's the key to it. The other key is, in terms of your work, is the tax distribution. And we have one of the better tax systems in that the way our tax funds come in, they are detailed for certain items. And I've had numerous folks from mayors from other towns ask about how we did it, and I've sent them copies of ordinances and elections that are required for certain things. And all of them, a lot of them can't even get a vote for any kind of tax support for the people. There's just, some towns have no sales tax at all. And that's the ones that are trying to, jump that, that's a high bar to jump on, but they're glad to do it. The other thing I think is when we know when we can do it and when we can do it, if you have, as in the case of police or fire, and you have people that are volunteers or coming from other career fields, that's sometimes the best place you can recruit. For the recruiting for us into the future, from the military, if you come out and you have police background in the military, whether you're in law enforcement or you're in traffic control or security, that's a shortcut to get people trained and get them on board. Used to, when you had somebody on board and you trained them, and then they bailed out for a higher paying job, it was tough trying to collect the money from the town that gained them. You just can't live life like that. So when you do it, and when you hire somebody, you need to make sure that you can have it funded, and it's not gonna be one of these whiff and poof deals that disappears in 3 years. You can't go operating a system like that. And it's like having leased cars. At some time, the car lease is up, and then what are you gonna do for the next thing, because you have no investment.
Any questions for Mr. Steve?
So having said that, what will our budget allow as far as what monies do we have that allows for us to?
For this year, we have
If
money
you-
for the park grant capital.
Can you come up to the mic? Sorry.
Megan, that,
Okay. For this year, what we have predicted, our revenues are right where they should be, even a little higher. But it should be without the park grant capital expenditures. We're in the positive around 600,000 this year. I mean, park grant was a little over 500,000 of that, but it's a capital, it's not an ongoing expense. It looks well, because we budgeted very moderately, because I wasn't sure with the sales tax last year, how everything worked out. I budgeted low this year, but everyone's expenditures down as much as we could. So I think we can, for sure, y'all wanted an open discussion, I don't know what you all are thinking. If we're looking at one and what departments,
Several departments.
I do say we never
We
did.
need fire department, we need to get that thing going.
The,
I mean,
now the admin, we never replaced
Charity.
right.
and we never replaced the water clerk girl. So there's two right there, so admin's down,
We've
basically.
had some people from out in, Zach Bay's left, there's a few of them that's cut out, We need people in all departments. But
We have to figure out
how we can do this.
what the priority is here at this point. And I do know that we have an ISO rating coming up, And if we're not properly staffed, everybody's homeowner's insurance is gonna go up. If we don't continue with our number one rating. If it drops to a 3, it's probably gonna go up 40% at least. And every citizen in this town expects us to take
Keep
care
that
of
number
problems
one.
like this. And if we don't take care of it, and we step backwards, then shame on us.
We won't get nothing else from this town either.
If we keep employees as is right now, is our ISO rating gonna drop, or is it not with our ladder truck?
It will drop.
Even with the volunteers that we
It,
added,
it will drop.
from what are you needing to ask them?
So, I did the math. Volunteers, ISO counts volunteers 3 to 1. So for every 3 volunteers that show up, you get credit for 1. Right? Off-duty paid personnel, which is off-duty full-time and part-time that are certified firefighters, are counted 2 to 1. So for every 2 that show up, you get credit for 1. The last fire we had, right, out of, I believe it's 10 possible points, we scored a 7.84. I did the math over the weekend. That puts us, that is a class 2 response, but it's 0.84 points away from being a class 3 response. Now, that's 1 fire. So when I apply the math to our last rating and just change out personnel, that puts us at a class 2. All right, now when ISO comes in, they're gonna look at 12 months worth of responses, and if, say, you only get 2 or 3 fires, then they're gonna go back 3 years, because they're gonna wanna see a pool of numbers, to see what your historical response, to make sure you're doing what you're doing all the time and not just on 1 fire. So that's why I really think we're gonna go to a 3.
That's a big deal to everyone that lives in this city.
Well, if you're asking in terms of how many, if we staff the ladder truck with 2 a day, that's 6 total. Right, that puts us at, that last fire at 9.84 points. That puts you, right at a class 1. And then we can make up 0.2 some odd points, We can make that up by adding a few off-duty part-time or adding some more volunteers, as long as we can increase that. But I can't make up nearly 3 points doing that. Does that make sense? I mean, the math is what it is, and I can't, there's only one way to change the math.
How many people need to show up for a call, or on a fire call?
Right, that changed in 2024 and was adopted in 25. So we're now down to a minimum of 10 in 10 minutes. We had 15 on that last fire, but the math calculates out to 7.84.
Because of the part-timers and the
Right,
volunteers.
that's exactly right, yep. So you've gotta have 10 points worth of people within 10 minutes. And that's the easiest way I can put it, I'm a numbers guy, so.
The key here is, if we had any kind of response at all from the volunteers steadily over the years.
Well, we've got a pretty good response now. I had 7 volunteers show on that last fire, and that was on a weekday during the day when most people are at work.
It worked.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, I can't complain over that. That's
Doesn't get any
actually
bet- it
really
doesn't get
good
any better
numbers.
than that.
Yep. And I had 5 off duty, and then you had me and the 2 on duty, so that's 3 on duty. And that's just how the numbers, if you add 2 more on duty, that's gonna blow it out of the water. That's gonna put you where you need to be. That's the easiest path to maintain your class 1.
But what do we need to do to get those 2? I mean, you got any ideas?
Fund it?
Do what?
Any idea how to fund it?
Well, I mean, I've brought forth several times a plan to
How about these
to
businesses?
to fund ladder truck staffing by charging businesses a commercial rate by square footage. say 10 cents a square foot, 8 cents a square foot, whatever it takes, you know, and to lessen the blow, I would almost say, try to fund 3 that way and then see if the city could fund 3, if that makes sense. But
talking-
it could be, you know, whatever the board chooses, of course. You know, of course, I don't wanna ask for too much from our businesses,
What's the
but
minimum rent?
understand our businesses, our commercial structures are the primary reason why we needed a ladder truck. Because they include your apartment buildings, your dorm buildings, all of your 3-story and higher buildings that require a ladder truck or commercial, or ISO considers them commercial. And that's how we get here.
That's why we had to buy the truck for them, right?
Yep. And, you know, if we can get to a point to where we're really talking about it, I've told my guys and myself and my 6 are it's so important to us, the safety of our firemen and the safety of our community, that we'd be willing to forego a COLA to try to help add people. You know, at 3%, that's 18.5. It's not much, but you know, we're all willing to do our part to try to get more people.
Comment about the fee for supporting this. If we have the square footage of the commercial property that drove the need,
I've got all of them.
okay, we
Yes,
need
sir.
the square footages of the people that drove it, and then look at what price per square foot.
I've got it.
Okay, what number would it take per square foot to bring 3?
I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it was about 8 cents.
8 cents? Well, if we went, let's not get into the 8, but how about 10 cents a square foot? Here's what I'm looking at, I'm looking at 280, I'm looking at 300,000 a year, okay? Now,
The property owner of the business.
Every commercial or just the ones over?
over the
Well,
drove.
so there's several categories that require the ladder truck. It was everything over about 3,000 square foot, anything that's 3 stories or greater, anything that's a assembly, like a church. You know, if you had a nightclub or you know, assembly.
The party room out here on,
Event center.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So there was about 4 categories. It was a large number, yeah. No, it was more than that.
Well, you had,
That's why I was able to drive it down to about 8 cents.
you got
I
800.
was trying to drive it down as far as possible because I only want the bare minimum to hire what we need. I'm not looking for more than what we need.
One fireman is worth the 825,000 square foot warehouse at 10 cents. That's about 80,000, somewhere plus or minus, okay? Is there enough square footage remaining?
What I did, sir, was I took the total salaries for, and I think I have a 3-person and a 6-person version. And let the spreadsheet do the math based on, you know, and change the cents per square foot until I got the number we needed, and it came out to 8 cents. That's all the businesses that we have that require a ladder truck, square footage. Looking at 3 and 6 people, and then I amortized it, amortized it. So based on 10 years, so that say, as an example, so that say the first year, the business, they get 100% of the cost. All right, year 2, every year would be a 10% change. So year 2, the city would pick up 10%, the businesses would drop to 90%, and their annual amount would drop. 10%. So every year they drop 10%, and in year 11, the city would have 100%. And then the project would go away. Does that make sense? That's just one recommendation. That's all.
Okay, now, selling this to the businesses. When you go and you're going to impose a charge on them that was not there when they bid or put the business out there. And we'll take apartments or the warehouse or any business, okay? When you make that imposition, what is the end result? Have any other towns, cities done this?
I mean, across the country, plenty have done it. I don't know in Arkansas.
How would you charge it?
I mean, the
Is
easiest
it-
way would be
is
on the
it a-
water bill for
Is
the
it a
business.
tax, or how would we?
I mean,
implement
personally, my thought was a fee on the water bill. As the easiest method to get them, to get the fee to them and have them pay it back. Once it's agreed to.
Okay. I think you need to bring us some numbers to give us an idea of what,
Absolutely.
I like your idea, and for us to fund it, we just,
I can bring you the numbers.
You can give it to me, and I looked at it one day and haven't had time to follow up on it. We've also discussed charging for the lift assist and things, and I requested those numbers numerous
Well, those are not gonna be enough to, I hate to say it, but those are not gonna be enough to fund anything.
Every nickel counts.
Yeah, every nickel counts. My thought is if we do it just based on the square footages, then Matt will probably, I don't know if he'll agree with me or not, but it seems like we might be targeting, and you know what I'm saying?
That's-
The bigger businesses and all
How
that.
do you figure we're targeting somebody?
They built the structure that.
Well, they built the structure,
that
yeah,
caused
but
the
I was,
problem.
Yeah, but we're
but my
providing
whole thing
service
is,
to them. I
why
don't
don't
think
we
it's
do it,
targeting.
why don't we do it based on, if you have a 3-story structure, it's this, but if you have a single-story structure, also do a broad everybody. A small one like
I
that.
think that, personally, I think that would drive the amount they have to pay up too high for the larger buildings. for business.
Absolutely.
I think it would be unaffordable for them, and that's not my goal.
Okay.
Here's the other thing, and we've been through this romance before. A fee can be enacted here as a part, like the technology fee to get new meters. Those fees can be handled, and they have been upheld in this state and been in court and have been approved in court. So they've suffered the judicial scrutiny, okay? Going to a tax basis is subject to the whim of the voters, and you don't know when. But if you go out and you do it as a fee, you better have your items lined up and your proof lined up and your reasons that it cost and drove that cost.
Well, I think we've got that, don't we?
Well, we got a rough idea. We haven't been down to the detailed stuff, but I'm just saying that knowing that fee and what we went through, John, is exactly the reason why. We're close. Okay. Now, that's concerning.
We got a
It
lot of
is.
concerning items right now.
I think the cost of this fee would be less than the amount of the increase in insurance for these businesses if we move to a class 3.
That's gonna be awful.
For everybody,
Yeah, everybody, including the businesses.
That's right.
As well as the
individuals.
private homeowner.
There'll be homeowners
We'll
that'll
need
have to cancel them.
Soon the insurance
from the
company.
insurance company to find out what that difference actually would be. We need to know what, and some of these businesses may or may not be, they may be self-insured, you never know. So this is something that you do, but you need to know we would need to know from the insurance services, what that difference would be. That will tell you that's the selling of the price. Say you got a 2,000 square foot home, okay, and it goes up, and your insurance goes up from 800 to 1,600 if you drop one, okay, you're doubling it. Well, what is that in the price of the price per square foot, okay? Same thing is, what is that price for that fee to support the firemen that go? In other words, you've got to prove equivalence to sell the thing. The dollars are dollars. It's the only way there is around it. Now, we would need then a real live insurance rate, what the rate increase would be.
Back at this point, do you know what they are? Are they a 3?
They just moved to a 5, I believe.
They were a 3?
Any other questions or comments or?
I do think we gotta figure something out. We just have to. Who's gonna be in charge of getting that information?
Got to-
I don't mind, but if we're talking as far as me and the admin employee, I mean, Tommy did send me that stuff. I think it's a great idea. I definitely can do it. I can dig into it, but there's only so many of us as far as time a day and hours, and my office is maxed and we're capped out. We've been, the amount that I'm working, you know, I'm salary split already is at max capacity. We're beyond the point in admin of comfortability or making things easier. I mean, we're to the point of we're not gonna be able to do our jobs to correct
When-
payment on time. We're not gonna be able to do our job, I mean, we're not gonna be able to keep up with things. We are, every time we add new staff in other departments, ours
Adds
gets
to-
larger, and it's more benefits, it's more paperwork, it's more, the state just keeps on tacking on more mandatory trainings with all this AI stuff and all the things all of our employees have to do. It's insane just in the last year, the amount of stuff that they're making us legally do for audit now.
How many
And
would
admin
get
does
us,
all that, like admin keeps up with that for everyone. And
how many would require to get to be sustainable to where we're able to do extras? How many?
We're not gonna be able to do extras.
Well, I know, I'm just saying,
that could take the tedious task off.
one full-timer or 2 part-timers or,
I would put full-timers think you get better work ethic.
right?
You don't wanna get into the
Benefits, you get
part-time
more capable
employees.
people. I do agree, and I would like to dig into that, and I mean, I think PD needs them as well. That's why it's hard to ask as admin. I'm here telling you what we can afford budget-wise. I told you the budget, now you all, it's your decision, but then also gonna step over to the side and vouch for admin and say, we're maxed out. We are,
When you come early and stay late and you work over the weekends,
everything legal every day, that's us. Making sure everyone stays on top of all the mandatory training, that's us. That's, and we're growing and our department has not. And I do think that we would have a lot of extra time to take these tasks. I have a huge list that I made in my office of things that I need to dig into, the property tax at the college that can, because our department's also the one that gets you all the revenue. I mean, we're the ones that do all the collecting, we're the ones that make sure all that happens. I have a list of things as far as, I've been looking at a hospitality tax too, because we don't charge a tax on alcohol for all of our, all of our restaurants. We don't have an alcohol tax. I've been looking at the property tax issue, with the college getting non-taxed. I've been looking, there's all those things, but they just take time, that lots of digging effort. We've been on the phone with the attorneys and the land commission today for that house that we have to condemn to make sure that we're doing everything legal, and that, because we bid that out, and that was almost $20,000 bid, and I'm trying to make sure that we're 100% covered, that we're gonna be able to get all of our costs back, that we're not gonna lose money. So to be able to do my job to the full capacity in my department, to make sure that we're able to keep the most revenue, we are gonna have to have some of this.
Basically, in a nutshell, rock, meet, hard place, that's where we're at right now.
Well, let me tell you how hard it is. When you take work home at night, and I've done that for years, and when you come in early and stay late, you're the first here and you're the last to leave, and you read, and it takes half a day just to read through the mail and the stuff that's planned and the potential attacks from.
Little Rock made all these mandatory trainings you have to go, so I had to go to Little Rock this last week, Wednesday afternoon through Friday. No one did my job, so I had to work all Saturday and Sunday. We're having to, and then, I mean, I stayed getting this ready for tonight. I worked till 7 last night.
There's no doubt we have.
A pity party, but I mean,
Well,
we're just.
I understand.
No.
We got some
And I
priorities that we
totally
gotta-
understand your plight, and
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're saying.
You need help, Tommy needs help, we all need help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I'm not able to do everything that I know I can do, because I just don't have enough manpower. Like, I know I can, I feel like if I have enough time, I can dig in and really collect us some revenue. I already
Chase.
have a lot on the business licenses, and we talked about earlier, our building permits, as of today, are at 100% for our year's budget this year. And that is from us chasing our and all.
And that's great, but building permits go away. They go
No, I
up,
know,
they,
they're not forever, and property tax, and I mean, I fixed a couple of those, the taller one is the larger one, and I haven't been able to fix that. I have fixed a couple of property tax people that were exempt that shouldn't have been. I'm working with that with things like that constantly. We need to update our, franchise taxes, that's been on my list, I'm sad to say, almost 2 years. Ever since all this fiber, like Wave and all, we don't have a franchise agreement with them. They're not paying franchise taxes. Verizon, ever since they started offering, they're not just phones anymore, they offer cable and internet, and they should be paying franchise. We need, that's stuff that takes time, that I feel like we could do so much better if we had help.
Tell you about chasing the tax business. The property tax business in this area has been a sketchy operation at best. And they'll tell you all the platitudes, and when you start digging and asking for questions, you get little to no help. It's all digging on your own. And these are elected officials that you're up against, and in Arkansas, the only way is to unelected. I'm telling you, because I've seen it from both ends. The other thing that I see is the mechanism that everybody's paid and their insurance, and you got probably the better deal of any place around here for insurance. When you talk to other towns, and you talk to their mayors or their administrators and find out, we're doing it right, but we don't have the ultimate way to do it all the way we need to collect every nickel that we're owed. And this is a case of where everybody explodes and they show up. And Bill, as far as permits, they're stopped right now, but when they get that 132 subdivision that they're working on right out there, right across from our park, there'll be 132 permits, and there's another one laying right behind it.
and that's great, short term.
Now,
But
short,
eventually it's gonna plateau.
It has
and
to.
that money goes away.
But then the
So,
property taxes kick in.
property tax kick in, but it doesn't make up for the building permit.
well, a building permit doesn't necessarily equal the property tax. Property taxes, and if you haven't got your statement, the reappraisals, you wait till you get your property tax statement and you find about the updates.
So do you guys, the board, would y'all like a study session scheduled sometime late July, early August?
I think we ought to just let Tommy come in with his numbers and
Yeah, we gotta prioritize.
Yeah.
What we do first.
instead of throwing it out on the table of this and that.
Yeah,
I know
that's why
Megan needs help.
I think
get-
a study
get things-
session to prioritize what we're gonna do first.
Oh,
Try to get, that way we all kinda get in
we
agreement.
can, we can
what we're doing.
prioritize it right here, right now, can't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know,
do that.
instead of drawing this thing out till next month, let's
Right.
get the ball on the,
Tommy, when's our ISO come up.
I won't have a date yet, but they came and raided City Hall last year or the year before.
They don't rate.
We're the only thing left.
They can just show up anytime unannounced?
They won't come unannounced. They'll call, but they'll give you like a 2 or 3 week notice, and that's it.
Not enough time to react.
Well, based on the last time that they visited and they came, Tommy's scores in fire, there is a chunk of the fire that is related to water, hydrants, water connections, pressures. That is a big chunk of his rating. We've got the books that show us. You can look at the points, and you need to maximize everything that you can, because the biggest chunk in that book, and it's like 100 points, and I think 65 or 70 of them are related to the water system, to the lines, to the pressures. And you all see his guys out doing pressure tests and flow tests and flushing the lines. And you look at our hydrants and the caps and the codes, and all are painted with codes. You go and look and see what's out there. You're gonna see blues and greens. That's indicates a quality system. But the quality system is determined, and that's why we're dead set on getting line replacements out of the water study, is because the fire system and the fire rating, your ISO rating, is tied not only to the ISO that we get. Joe and Kim are hip deep in the ISO prep. That's why we've had to make these changes to the inspections, and why we've had to do the training. This stuff it's all interlocked. And Kim and Joe have had no end of training and getting on the system to be ready, because the ISO grading, we did probably better than we've ever done before, and we went same, 80, like 88, took 88, we got 89. You can't clear it without you have some real horsepower and do it the right way. That's inspections, training, and certification.
All that's in line, correct? I said, all of what you just said, we're in line with.
We're in line, and that is, and we want to stay in line and not lose ground.
Oh, I'm sure.
And
But-
part of that is for us in the public side, is the water system, which plugs back into Tommy. If you don't have the water system up and kicking gear, his ratings can go right out.
What is that, what is that?
Was that another priority that we need? I mean, water lines? I
That's
mean,
why we're doing these
No,
projects,
I understand
John.
that, but we're getting farther and farther away.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we can have all of what you just mentioned in line, the way it's supposed to be, but if you don't have the manpower to hook
You ain't
up
got
to
it.
it and put the fire out,
That's right.
it's really irrelevant as far as
Well,
on
if
the
you
fire
don't-
department side.
But here's the thing, if he doesn't have the water supply verified out there by testing and flows and pressures.
But you just said that's all okay.
It
We're working
is,
on it.
but the more you build and add, the greater, that's why we had the water study to find out what we didn't need.
I think we're getting off.
No,
Yeah.
You're not, it ties together.
I understand that, and all that is being worked on and is in the.
That's an ongoing program.
It's an ongoing program and always has been. We're at a point right now, because of our growth and the 3-story buildings that we are required to have a ladder truck. You might not have thought this thing through well enough. We should have figured out how we're gonna staff it at the same time. Now we're stuck, with our back against the wall, trying to figure out a way to make that happen.
And to help Megan at the same time,
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, do we want to go around the table and each of you tell us where you think the priority should be first? On if we could hire one person right now, where would that priority be?
One person's not gonna do the fire department.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, if we had enough for one person right now, where would it go?
I thought we had looked at one time whether or not we could afford to hire an admin person in July, or wait till the next year.
do it now.
Yeah, that's what we're talking.
We stopped spending for the first 6 months of the year, and then after that, we'd discuss on what we could do, you know, whether it be at the 6 months or at the first of the year. And
Well, if our spending was stopped for 6 months, did we gain?
did we make any headway?
Did we make any headway? Or are we less or more than we was
By
in
holding off on
December?
the spending's what he's saying.
I mean, we're definitely more, because we didn't spend any of the capital, we didn't buy any, we did no capital purchases this year, no vehicles, no anything, and we didn't add a new employee. So at the very least, if you had agreed to add me a new employee, we would be $30,000. We saved at least $30,000, by not doing it till mid-year. I mean, in admin. and-
So with your help, then that's gonna speed up the process with the Tommy and the rest of it. Is that what you're getting
I
at?
can guarantee you, if I have another person, the amount of time I would have to concentrate and focus on things that need my attention. You would see a difference. I believe you. would
Well,
see
I mean,
a
I'm
difference.
just
I would a lot
asking,
more
you know.
support and speak a lot more like, hey, I
Full-time.
figured out this problem, let me dig forever, and then finally, okay, hey, I figured out how to fix it, still don't have the time and manpower to do it. I would be able to actually just do it.
I kinda like the idea of two part-time employees, cause you're not paying the
Insurance.
higher amount for insurance, and the rest of the benefits that come with it.
I'm 100% on board with trying that. I don't, if I could get two people that would do it and would show up and, like how many, I think 28 hours a week, I think is the maximum, or maybe it's 32 hours on, to be not offered benefits.
The key here, though, is
It would be about the same as one, but I'd have about 1 day of overlap.
the benefits are what gets you the employee that's qualified to do the job and not have to stand and have feet.
I understand all that.
And that's-
But
and that- and-
it's in the remedial tasks, which does not have to have a highly skilled person to do that.
Helper.
Help them.
Well, here's the thing. If there's anything that involves what I would say confidential information that goes through, you want somebody that could pass a clearance investigation.
They have to do that on the front end.
Well, it depends on what you find people that are showing up that are qualified.
I deal with people all day.
I
every day,
realize you do.
Where you gotta run background checks, and who you think is gonna be a great employee, you can't hire them because of something. I get
I
that.
100% agree that I don't have to have someone, I don't expect someone to my level or even with a like super high education, I don't need that. If they can answer the phones and learn basic tasks and they can alphabetize and just help with, they can organize and they can help with things like that, it would help. I mean, I stayed after work 2 weeks ago, just finally cleaning up the Easter stuff and getting it out of the way because I had July 3rd and I'm here hanging out. I make way too much money to be cleaning up Easter stuff.
I agree. You got bigger fish to fry than stuff like that. So these people that could come in at 10 o'clock and work till 3 or 3:30, or even 4 o'clock, they're part-time. They're still making enough money to where they're gonna be vested, and there's a lot of people out there that don't wanna work full-time.
I'm completely on board to try it. We could try for a couple months, I can see, I don't really know where the workforce, it's so weird right now anyways. It's hard trying to find somebody, maybe they want part-time more, than they actually want full-time nowadays. I don't know, I haven't tried that. And I 1,000 times would try 2 part-timers, I'll do that if that's what we're gonna try first. Worst thing happens is I come back and say, I can't find anyone that will show up or anyone that will do it and it could be a full-time.
It's worth exploring. Sure save us a ton of money.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
All right, what would you like to make?
I make a motion that we hired a administrative staff member or members. We have budgeted here $63,000 for a year. If we can find 2, we will hire 2. Cannot, we will hire 1,
One full-time?
Full-time.
Or 2 part-time, is that right?
depending on the applications and what we can do. But I'm saying in our budget, we will allow up to $63,000 on that.
All right, we've got a motion. Do I have a second?
There.
Got a second. Roll call vote, please.
Aaron Rowe? John Manus?
Yes.
Pancho Davis,
Yes.
Marsha Parker.
Yes.
Ken Coley.
Yes.
Bill Young,
No.
Ron Cherim.
Yes.
Find us one or two.
And then you want Tommy to bring the numbers at the next meeting to discuss the fire additions, and I'll work with him on that I guess the 20 or 30 largest businesses, I should just looking at what it would cost them.
One other thing that, I don't know who we get our insurance from, which company or whatever. I'd like to have someone from that company come and say, hey, for an ISO rating, this is this much on a $100,000 house in Barling. But if you lose that, this is what the insurance would be on that same deal. Sort of give us some food for saying, hey, we need to hire this person because of this, because insurance rates are gonna go up anyway, Bill.
Yeah, but they don't have to go up 50%.
Well, with all these roofs replaced, you think the insurance company's gonna pass on that? It's
So why-
coming.
Why stack that on top of the increase from the roofs?
Well, my sentiments, let's get a report and see what we've got and try and run with it. Sort of give us an idea. When you're talking to a regular citizen, you say, hey, by the way, your insurance is going to go up $2,000. And they say, my gosh, it only costs $2,000 now. So if you would be so kind to contact our insurance agent and say, hey, come and he and Tommy talk and
Yeah,
try and give
ours
us an
is-
idea.
We're self-insured municipally, so I'm not sure, but I have several local that I can reach out to and ask them. what
Please do.
the increase would be.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, and Tommy, bring numbers at the next one. That way it looks like, and it appears that the focus is, we got that one, you're up to bat. That's the way it seems and appears right now. All right, let's move right along. There is no new business. Department head reports. Joe, how's it going?
I'll be short and sweet on this. During the month of May, majority of my violations were overgrown properties. Obviously, with all the rain, it's continuing on into June now, so that's pretty much all I got, just that.
Just overgrown because of the rain.
Yep.
Hi, Mr. Matt.
We're doing same. We're focused right now, just getting the park cleaned up for the 4th and just mowing.
And on behalf of all the citizens, thank you for fixing the splash pad. They are very appreciative of that.
You could run for mayor.
You could run for mayor just because of that right there. And thank you so much.
deal.
They are out there day after day. I couldn't count the number of cars the last time I went out there, and they are using it and they love it. So, Tommy, you're up to bat.
And in the month of May, we had 4 fires, 51 medical, and 9 public service for a total of 64 runs. Average response time was 2 minutes, 3 seconds. We ran multiple calls at once, 2 times, or 1 time for a total of 2 runs. We responded out of the city twice, once to Central, once to Lavaca, both on medicals. And we're going to have a child safety seat inspection clinic on July 3rd before the July 3rd event. It'll be here in the parking lot on the side of City Hall. That's all I've got.
All righty. Chief, you're up. How's it going?
Good. I normally don't throw numbers, but I will this time. This is for May. Traffic enforcement, motorist assist accidents. I had 150 citations written, 544 warnings. And you might keep in mind that in May, from the 18th to the 31st, that was, some of those paid for by the Department of Transportation through that STEP program. We normally can't get out and do that traffic enforcement without that assistance. We had 18 motorist assist, whether it's flat tire, broke down vehicle, 11 accident investigations. We'll have a step again, July the 1st through the 5th for DWI. 10th to the 31st will be a speeding initiative. Report-wise, criminal investigations, this is not our dispatch numbers. As we all know, they're incredibly high. But out of some of the investigations, done 80 reports filed, 29 arrests came out of that. That does not include assist outside agency, which is local, state or federal, or our drug task force narcotics investigations. Some of those arrests, we had 6 domestic related, 3 sexual assault / related investigations, 2 child abuse, child endangerment. On the traffic side of it, with those citations written, 7 of those are DWIs. 1 was a DWI second, 1 was a DWI fourth.
Were those through the middle of town or off on the interstate?
Yeah, I don't have the locations. That was just during our traffic contacts. On the minor side, we do deal with animal calls. As y'all know, we had 3 vicious animal calls. One of them was a dog bite. On the upside, as y'all know, we lost 2 employees to state agencies. We are now fully staffed. We doing our due diligence and background investigations on that. We've now filled those positions. We got a new Durango in, which y'all know was assisted financially by the prosecutor's office. It's on the road now, so it's up and running. Sore subject right now, but we're still 2 vehicles down, 1 being a patrol vehicle, 1 being an administrative vehicle. I don't know if y'all know or not, I'm driving a seized vehicle that's at 145,000 miles with no emergency equipment. We've got an investigator in a vehicle that's pushing 150,000 miles. And I know that's just food for thought. And we've had community call concerns, and the only reason I'm gonna put this out there is because just making them aware, may take care of it or putting it on Facebook, but we're having some concerns again in Spring Hill Addition, Spring Hill Road. We've dealt with it a couple of years ago, the best that I remember, but we got people parking on both sides of the road. I know it sounds remedial, but the complaints are, is 1, it's blocking mailboxes, and 2, the sanitation truck can't get through, and people has concerns with that because their sanitation's not being dealt with. We go out there and knock on doors and usually get taken care of. But my concern is, and I'm sure Tommy's is as well, if the trash truck can get through there, a fire truck can't either. So people may be aware of that. It may take care of itself with just public notice. That's all I've got.
People park on the street.
Yeah, well, and the width of the street is an issue. I don't know that we have an ordinance to deal with that in that particular area, but yeah, when they park a little farther away from the curb, I mean, it doesn't take much for that trash truck.
You stack one on one side, one on the other, and you have just a small area in the middle of it.
Could we take and put no parking signs on one side of the street or something like that?
That's y'all's call.
Okay.
I really don't know. That's
Okay.
You think that would alleviate our problem, not necessarily with the trash truck, because there's gonna be parked on one side and not the other.
It may be a bigger problem than that because of the driveway sizes, size of the houses. I mean, if you have 2 vehicles or a child that has a 3rd vehicle, I mean, they might be parking on the grass. I don't know how to deal with that, but I'm just making y'all aware.
You just bring it up. Thanks.
Any questions for any of these fine folks up here? Nope. All right, Steve, it's all yours now.
I went to the pre-construction conference for the paving. The mayor from one of the towns showed up, and the mayor from the other town couldn't be found. Your contractor is gonna be Emery Sapp and Sons. They've gotta be finished in November. Pay is gonna be terrific for running short. They've got subcontractors are gonna be time striping, will be handling the signs. Raggio Excavating from down in Boonville will be doing the removal and displacement of the curb and wheelchair ramps that will go in. The streets that do have that we're gonna be, and we're one of the only ones that actually has any milling to do and do any real repairs. The milling gradings are going to be placed down by the cemetery where we're gonna put the future road through. The material supplier will be Ergon Asphalt and Emulsions, and these folks will be providing the tack coat. One of the things that I've told them, that when they decide to work on the street, we need to know the sequence it goes in, so that Brian and Tommy both know if you have to close one and tack coat it, you tearing through there with a new car or a truck. The other thing is, they have not made up their mind yet. They're looking at all of it, about which town they want to do first. He told me, the superintendent for him told me that looking at Barling, it'd probably be 2 days to a week, depending on the weather. And they will be through here, and that's 2 miles of road in total. The other thing is we have, Matt's guys have the manhole lift rings if needed, and they have the water valve caps if needed, so it won't hold them up, and we're the only ones that have apparently any curb or any other of the step downs or wheelchair ramps, thing like that. The maximum allowed is $400,000 or right at it. And there's a little cash at the end, they pay about $390, and there's about $10,000 that's left in case you have something that's crazy. And the question was asked if we have money in the pavement fund here, asking if there's some additional work that we need done while they're here, can we negotiate it separately? And he said yes.
Good.
Now,
That's it. That's it. All right, any questions for Steve? All right, announcement. Well, the only announcements we got, July 3rd, big day. Got the fireworks and all that fun stuff at the park at 5 p.m. Tommy and them will be up here at the City Hall from
4 to 6.
from 4 to 6 for the child safety seat. So that's all we got on announcements right now that I'm aware of. Anybody from the public like to speak? No, that means that our esteemed vice mayor gets to do his due diligence.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Got a motion to adjourn? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye. Folks, we are adjourned. Everybody have a great day, and everything is great in the city of Barling right now.